already um reached this price target right here. The reason why majority of the trades that I took was from NQ. Was given that NQ was the weaker asset. As you can see from this SMT, it was the weaker asset. US state was actually leading. Well, yeah. So let me go ahead and monitor these things. So the daily time frame, you notice that we had this, right? So this was uh, it was swept from this point, and then US state. This has been reading already, right? So US state was leading. US state was actually leading. So NQ couldn't take out this one. Why? Because US state was leading and S&P 500 was second, and this should be the third. And um, given that US 500 and US 30 has already been making the movement, so this NQ was actually trying to catch up to them. So that was the reason why I couldn't take out its own low right here. So then we got an SMT with US 500. Right. So if you take a look at this one, it didn't take out the stuff, right? This was Tuesday. And then this was Tuesday as well. So the price target as well was Tuesday's high. And if you use this logic, external range liquidity has been taken out. So once you've taken out external range liquidity, let's target the internal range liquidity, which was another logic you could apply to it. So then dropping on the 4 hour time frame, we have disclosure here, which I've explained what the closure is. So I've made a video about it. So yeah, so as you can see, we did trade higher to this point at US 100, right? We did, we even tapped towards it by getting this point, which was already mitigated. And then this will be the next target after that. So for US 500, and we did have this. So US 500 was stronger than US 100, right? So given that it was stronger than US 100, um, it was more volatile. Why do I say so? Now, let me use this 15 minutes for instance. When I got an entry from this point, my low was here. Let's say, this was the price target, right? So given that US 100 was the weaker asset during New York section, this low wasn't taken out. None of this low was taken out, rather. They continued the SMT, right? But in a case scenario whereby I had this entry with a stronger asset, I had my stop here. During New York section, price dropped to this when that was the stop loss, right? Just to form the SMT to this point, to this point. So this is the reason why I want to trade it. You want to trade the weaker asset so that you don't get wicked out, right? So that was the same scenario here. So when trading, you want to select the weaker asset, the one that does the SMT. Just use the SMT divergence to filter them out so you can. That's why you want to have your stuff like this. So you can see this side and this side was here, right? Oh, it dropped. This wasn't. It was not even going to this point, right? No, that wasn't the case. It just wanted to do what it had already done, which was this stuff here. Then that was completed. It started moving higher. There wasn't any entry of any sort again. So it just started moving higher and higher. So yeah, that's that. That's basically how SMTs, or that's how it tends to work. But now that the framework was initially what we've done already, which was from the, let me use the daily, which was from the external range to the internal range. That's how you do it. External to the internal, from the internal to the external range. So that was basically how I did. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So once this external range has already been taken out on Thursday in one Friday to, continue trading higher. Now that was that. So we are likely to reach to this point, or at least this point. And yeah, so there's a possibility. So yeah, that's that.